Can't get rid of me, hey, 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 hey. I run the underground like a fucking marathon. I go to sleep in the hard head to the job done. These niggas only put in work when it seems fun. But to be a boss, you gotta have boss growth some. Why should I stunt hard for a bunch of fronters when most of y'all never seen money? Stevie Wonder, to fix the mesh I made, I'ma need more than a plunger. And
making whole scene is sinking. Big dog, about to bring the motherfucking pain. Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in.
welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, sirski. Well, if you've been along this ride with me, you know you are now watching part 3 of Restraint and Trauma. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's do some claps. You know what I mean? We're going to get back into it. You know what I mean? We're going to dive right back into it. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Come on, man. Look, G, I'm just trying to...
Let's go, champ.
All right, one time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's get into it, man. Yeah, I know it's a serious topic, but we must stay diligent in what we do. And that's bringing this realness and energy to you. I am your host. You understand me? I am Mickey J. the Analyst, a.k.a. Dummy!
Cut that bitch off.
With the big hands, you feel? And say, man, again, this is the Gangster and Gentleman Podcast. Part 3. Come on, man. All right, let's dig into it. Now, last episode, we focused more on the trauma side of things. And, you know, we talked a little bit about domestic violence amongst men and women. And we put the focus on how men go through just as severe of cases of domestic situations, especially these days. And then, you know what I mean, we more so focused on the effects of what death causes, right? Aww. Well, I thought I should break this thing down into a realistic, let's put a title on these type of traumas, right? If I'm not mistaken, the stuff that we've been talking about up until this point, I think it's called acute. That's ACUTE trauma. You know what I mean? These traumas are normally physical. You know what I'm talking about? These things are normally stuff like, you know what I mean, dealing with stuff that car accidents or some type of natural disaster that caused an accident, or, you know what I mean, witnessing some type of violent crime, or, you know what I mean, just like the sudden loss of a loved one, like we talked about last episode. And, you know, those things, you know what I mean, those things are normally general, I'd say, for things that cause trauma. But we're going to talk a little bit about something called chronic trauma today. Yeah. The man been doing his homework because I see how important this topic is, and I just want to have the proper terminology to identify your trauma and the reason why, you know what I mean, these things may be plaguing themselves in your life and you not know exactly this is what they are. So we need to put a title on your trauma. You understand? The big man got you. We gonna see through it together. You understand? So, chronic trauma, if I'm not mistaken, it is more so, I think it has to do with, some type of domestic situations that you may have experienced. Any physical emotion or sexual abuse that you may have experienced as well. Any forms of neglect. The type of environments that you may have been raised in that had to warp your mindset to be something that you probably wouldn't have became or had to become or had to adapt to surviving versus just to live. Different. We'll talk about that as well. Or, something as simple as just being bullied. Something as simple as being bullied. And, I feel like let's dig into that. For the most part, like I said, we've covered acute trauma. We're going to talk more so about chronic trauma. Now, where we left off last, we left off at a very special place. Because, granted, most people would have ended whatever I got going on series-wise with these with death. But I'm trying to do things in another order because, like I said, life must go on. So it would make sense for it to be at least in the middle.
Shit like that. Shit like
that. You get what I'm
saying?
So let's just dig into some of these effects of what this title that I just gave y'all for some of these traumas are, which would be called chronic trauma. Now, domestic disputes. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You never know how much something affects you until you get in a real relationship with somebody. Right? Now, I said last episode, I talked about men, I talked about women. And, how the roles are reversed, But, let me just say this, ladies. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm giving any men slack. If you are a man putting your hands on a woman, that's very weak of you. There is something in you that you have not resolved trauma-wise, and it is preventing you from being a better version of you. You understand me? No man should put their hands on no woman. I don't care what type of controlling tactics you may try to do, manipulative tactics you try to do. It should never turn physical, bro. If you're not sharp enough to trick somebody with your mind, it should never make it past hands. Anytime it gets to a physical part where somebody is just having to put their hands on you to make you understand or make you see things their way, controlling you through violence, it's time to make a real decision. And what I was trying to convey last episode when I was saying most women modern day, because I said modern day, it's a lot more masculinity in women modern day, because a lot of these women grew up seeing violence and they normalized it from whether it was siblings or elders or parents. And this is the messed up part about when a woman becomes violent, man. When a woman becomes violent, G, that's not normal. It's not in a woman's nature to be violent, especially towards a man. And women, y'all need to hear this and hear me good. Hear me good. And I ain't trying to be funny. I'm not trying to. Now, I've seen some women do some damage to some men, small and big. You know what I mean? But I will say this. Most of those men who they were having their way with physically, they had restraint. The average woman can't do nothing with the undersized average man.
Shit like that.
If that man chooses to unlock his actual strength and show you he's a man.
Facts.
Some of you ladies need to really understand why you out here thinking y'all Clarissa Shields. And you just think you know what I mean, it's cool to be violent as a female. Just understand, it's a lot of dudes who go off the I'm not touching you, don't touch me rule. And once that barrier is crossed, it's fair game. And I do not condone hitting women, but I do condone protecting yourself. It's just that simple. It's not cool for you to be walking around with scars all on your face, sir or ma'am, because somebody's hands is too damn friendly and they just happen to keep finding residence on your face or wherever else on your body.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I should throw that out. And that's why we speaking of masculine females. This is just me. This is just the meek man. One thing I can never trust is a woman who smokes Blackie Bell.
The man is a menace.
If you're a woman who smokes Blackie Bells, you have some trauma in you. You have not reserved. Man, that is 10 cigarettes. Do you understand me? You know how tough your chest got to be? To hit these blacks like that? And you just... Hey, I'm sorry, Blackbeard. I didn't know you were a sailor. Let me guess. You're drinking alcohol by the liters.
Jesus Christ.
All I'm saying is, it's just certain traits you got to know how to identify. You understand me? Hey, y'all think y'all might be chuckling and laughing. You think of a female that smokes blacks, and I'm not even just talking about the studs. See, I know most studs gonna be like, I mean, shit, I'm a nigga, I'm a real nigga. Relax. Calm down. High shoulders. We're not talking about just you. Clearly, you've shown that you want to be more manly. But there's something wrong with you as well. You don't get off the hook. You black smoking pirate face.
Hey,
you understand
that's too much now. You stepped over the line. Now we won't be talking that kind of shit.
So just know, a woman who smokes Blackie Bowls is an immediate red flag. I don't give a damn what you feel. I don't like seeing women smoking cigarettes. So imagine how Blackie Bowls. That's basically a Newport 1000. Oh, moving on. All right. Sometimes you just got to get off you. You know what I mean? I don't like it. All right. But okay. Domestic violence. Some of y'all deal with certain things, seeing certain things, and internalize certain things that you didn't understand that that's what you were doing after seeing it. For instance, a child grows up seeing a mom and dad bicker a lot. Okay, it is a chance, depending on how that child reacts at an early age, if he's intrigued by it, or he identifies it as it's happening and disassociates himself from it. Whether it's going to become a high level trigger. And guess what? This is the messed up part. You didn't even catch the trauma. The trauma is in when the kid is standing there and isn't bothered by the bickering and the violence. Because all that kid is internalizing how to communicate is that. In an argumentative, conflictive way, especially when they got some shit to say.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
There's no way
Shit like that. Shit like that.
that when certain kids are a certain age, see, I had to learn this myself. I used to not try to fuss it all in front of my kids, man. But you know, when you're an adult and you're in a real relationship, sometimes some shit you just can't wait till you're home and behind closed doors. Some shit just comes out. And I truly hate some of the moments that I allow certain things to be said in front of my kids because they might not remember certain things, but I know my oldest child do. And I know she can't blame how she talks to people on me because I kept a lot of shit away from her, but it's those moments that she see me as a man not being a man. When I should have just shut up. I should have just bit my tongue. I should have just tucked my tail in that moment because as a man, regardless of how I feel, my job is to protect my woman. And that's even if it's from me sometimes. Come on now, somebody. See, this is what a high level accountability looks like. Because everything that is domestic violence starts verbally.
Message.
Right? Everything that becomes a physical situation starts verbally. So if you can't contain yourself and have the restraint to hold your tongue when you having a disagreement or whatever. Now, granted, like I said, I don't hit women. I've never have, man. But here's a confession. I won't hit you, but I squeeze a motherfucker like an orange. You know what I mean? And I squeeze.
Come on, don't be crazy.
You gonna feel this love. I ain't gonna hit you. You will melt in my arms like butter. Do you understand me? I would harness all of that energy. Like the Black Panther suit. I'll take all that energy and I'll just embed it in me and I'll just rock with you. Michael Jackson. You hear me? Until you just don't have anything left in you and I just hide. You hear me? I done shot all that energy back to you. You can't catch it because you too tired. Because I done gave you what I like to call a love hug. You hear me? I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to desert you. But I must let you know, when I put the boys around you, they gonna work you.
Oh.
Yeah. It get like that. Now, granted, I haven't had to do this situation with my wife. Shout out to you, babe. I ain't even really had to lock you in like that. Because, you know what I mean? Lucky for me, I found somebody who can communicate without wanting to be physical. And I appreciate you for that because I don't like what arguing makes me feel. So why would I want to get physical and I don't even like what arguing makes me feel? Because I get like that. Yeah, I get like that. But I have restraint. I have moral, I have conduct. I was raised by real men, like I said before. Men that show me, you know what I mean, look, Jam, this ain't it. I mean, and this is the crazy part. Some of those men, they were a little friendly with their hands, ironically. God gonna put no names out there, but yeah, some of them was a little friendly with their hands. But they was G enough to let me know that they were wrong and that's not something I should embed and normalize. So, okay, a kid sees two parents bickering, yada yada, and he's intrigued by it instead of disassociates and runs from it. Let's say those situations start becoming physical.
Yikes.
Whether it's on the mom's behalf or the dad's behalf. It does not matter. What y'all just introduced this kid to, especially when nobody leaves, is this is how you love.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
If it ever gets rocky and we ever got to get physical with each other, it shouldn't be a problem. Because at the end of the day, I've seen this growing up, and these people didn't run from each other. They ended up in the same house, in the same bed, scarred up, licking each other's wounds. And that's a problem. That is a huge fucking problem, sir or ma'am. If you think that is okay, you brought that into your adult life, that mindset, it don't matter how much you a hoe. If you run, you ain't no man. And this motherfucker, he done lost a pint of blood behind an argument that turned physical, and he chooses to leave, and he's the pup.
Claude, him.
Damn! I don't get it. Or sir, if whatever reason you flash out, you done put your hands on this lady, you done drug her tracks out, or you done left them near ball spot in her head because all of a sudden you feel like you just want to become the world's most aggressive person to somebody who can't defend themselves properly with you. That's a problem. That is a problem. There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing cool about being extra with your hands, especially when it's somebody who is yours. And a lot of y'all have really brought this foolishness into adulthood. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's say you witnessed this and you didn't understand what it was, right? let's say as a child, you weren't given the most attention. You weren't given the most game. You weren't given, a head start in life with wisdom. See, a lot of people think education is the head start. No. Common sense and wisdom is a real head start. Because you can go out here and buy education. You can't buy common sense. And you damn sure can't buy life experience. Facts. So a lot of y'all who have had traumas, who may not have had people who guided y'all, created traumas and didn't understand that's what y'all was doing because you were looking for attention that you didn't receive as young ones. See, a lot of y'all went out here, y'all might have got told y'all was pretty or handsome at a young age. You started letting that get to your head because somebody finally cared. Somebody finally seen you. Somebody finally made you feel like, you're special. Aww. And this is where that water gets murky. This is what starts happening. When you're neglected as a child, you go out searching for validation as an adult. And what that does is start making you put yourself in the mindset that certain circles that you're a part of was designed for you to be in. When you ain't supposed to have no association with these people regardless of what you went through. See, a lot of people can't identify a user, a manipulator, a leech, a backstabber, somebody who's jealous, somebody who's envious, somebody who has no good intent but plays a role because they have an ulterior motive, because they weren't trained to. They didn't have somebody who installed this type of common sense to see step one, to have the wisdom to identify step two. Therefore, we would have never made the step 3 because step 1 would have identified everything. Come on now, somebody. It ain't so common to have sense. I'm trying to tell y'all. And when you've been through certain trauma and you can identify, damn, it took me till I was like in my late 20s to learn this shit that somebody who is in their teens know better than. That sucks. Because you probably went out here, you probably ruined your reputation. You lost respect. You don't have the type of name that a man or a woman probably wants to garner with theirs. And more importantly, bro, you honestly probably didn't understand the damage you was doing to yourself as you was doing it. You was just living and assumed everything that was going on was meant to happen when you unintentionally put yourself in situations because of something that you didn't receive as a child.
Message.
See, one of the biggest traumas as a child that we don't realize is a trauma is you can have that one parent who's present, G. You can have that one parent who's present. And that person is the primary parent and all of that. But the person who's always labeled the fun parent, the parent who lets you have your way and do what they want, that person who doesn't spend the most time with you, which is considered neglect, just keep that very fair. Because I love, as much as I love my dad, RIP, I got to be real. Like I said, he was there, but he wasn't there, bro. That's a form of neglect. That is a form of neglect. You're there, but you're not there. I know you're my dad. I see you. We spend time. But what am I really learning? What are you really doing for me? You get what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all have went through life with parents like that. And you became the parent for this parent. You became the person that they depend on. You became the person who, as much as the primary parent did for you, you don't consider them the way that you consider this parent because you've already put it in your mind, this parent is weak and this parent needs you.
Message.
So you pour more into this parent. And the messed up part about this, and I'm speaking from experience, the messed up part about this, you would take more losses dealing with somebody who couldn't love themselves properly than you would have just disassociating and just accepting This person is who they are because they didn't care. And you want enough to make them change. It's just that simple. Sometimes life shows his head in the toughest and roughest times with truth attached to it. Like I said, I knew my pops loved me. You might have knew that parent loved y'all, but love ain't enough. Love ain't enough, G's. Especially when you're a child. You have to be taught right from wrong in order to understand it. Now, some things you got to learn on your own to identify why it's right and wrong. I get that. We all entitled fuck-ups as a kid. You can't bring those fuck-ups into adulthood because adulthood fuck-ups cost you time, it costs you money, and it costs you stability. And the financial hardships to get back to certain levels, you wouldn't fathom how tough that is once you keep digging a hole for yourself that you created. So, having said that, a lot of y'all operated off trying to fill a void for somebody from this neglect you received because it was fucking neglect. Just because you was around this person and you saw this person, that don't mean shit. A parent's job is to be there and sacrifice whether they can or can't a certain way. And most of the time, when parents can't do the things that you want them to do, as long as they're doing the things that they need to do, those are the things that matter. Kids don't always deserve to get what they want. But it's a parent's job to provide what a child needs. And a lot of y'all got to start being honest about that. When I needed it, where was this motherfucker at? You understand me? When I needed you for just what I was going through, where the fuck were you at? When I was mentally trying to prep myself to become a young adult and such, what were you in my life at that time? Now, all of y'all that are successful or have became more successful than expected, what does that parent to you in current day? Does this parent go out their way to have more communication with you now? Because if so, that should let you know you were dealing with a manipulator and a fucking leash the whole time. You just didn't know it until you were the person who became successful enough for them to show you who they really were. You'd be surprised what materialistic shit draw out of a person who never fucking had it.
Message.
You understand me? And again, shout out to my dad. My dad wasn't my father because he never gave me those father moments. But it was 100% my dad. I know my dad he would go to the end of the world and back for me. But it's hard to do that for somebody else when you can't do it for yourself. You get what I'm saying? And that's just being real about real life. See, once you start accepting things and people for who they are and who they were in your life, life gets easier. Because you understand it was bigger than you what they were going through. You weren't enough to change who and what their mindset was. And that's okay. But you can't afford to be that for you and yours and what you're building. That's the moral of that situation.
Facts.
Right? Okay. I feel like we having a good little, you feel me? I feel like we kicking shit, man. Yeah. I like the direction this is going. Another thing. Some of y'all live in certain areas, right? And you saw a lot of things, right? Saw a lot of things. You saw a lot of things that warp your mindset as a child, man. You know what I mean? The hardest thing to do sometimes, you know what I mean, is to watch what drugs can do to people, right? That's tough. Another hard thing to do is watch when you see young people throw their life away because they want to do certain things and become part of certain things, and they start engaging in violence heavily in the streets, and you see how easy it is for life to be taken, right? You see how violent, people can be, especially over things that they really don't have knowledge about why they do it. You know what I mean? That's always tough. These are traumas that most people don't really get a chance to really grieve out until they're older, because it takes most people a long time to really sit down and identify. I was living in a fucked up situation. It was fun. We was wild, yada yada. But really made it through some pretty fucked up shit. And sometimes you have to really self-identify what that looks like and what that means. And more importantly, how did you get past it? If these are people that you lost because, you lost them out here to the streets because of, certain violence, or, like I said, certain potential gang-orientated things, you got to be real about real shit, man. It was a loss that could have been avoided.
Shit like that.
I understand certain environments, they really cater more to certain things, especially gangs. But let me tell you something, G's. When you know better, you do better, man. And the hardest thing it is to do is disassociate. And while we're talking about disassociation, I should have mentioned that when I was talking about death, right? This is just the term disassociation. I don't want to go that deep in this episode. I was about to cut out. No. Damn. We'll talk about it next episode, man.